My name is Jeffrey Bredon. I'm a writer and director living in Brooklyn, New York. 6 years ago I took a job on a corporate tour, traveling the country for a year. I then took a sabbatical to research and write a non-fiction book exploring the relationship between spirituality and globalization. This book is called The Chrysalis Age. Taking what I learned from those 2 years, I wrote a play dealing with the issues surrounding September 11th, adapting it and directing it as a feature film. The trailer you're about to see is from that film. It's called Dark September Rain. The end was predicted long before its arrival, and its continued delay led many to believe that their fondest wishes had been fulfilled, while their darkest fears had been allayed.
That is all the information we have at this time. As we said, details are sketchy and reports are conflicting.
The farmhouse has stood beneath these lumbering hills since before the birth of the last century.
The day I first set eyes on this house was the day that Ben got out of the army.
I was born the same day the Wright brothers lifted off the ground at Kitty Hawk.
There is also a family. One not born, but inherited, and made like most families. Those that bequeathed the farm to this new family remember it well. So well that it seems to them like only yesterday they walked its narrow halls, plowed the tender soil, and lived.
We do not know what the death toll will be, but it is safe to assume that the loss of life is extensive. Again, these are the images that tell the story best.
Turn it off. I want to see this. I can't watch it again. They're just showing the same thing over and over. How many times can you see that?
We should just bomb them back to the fucking Stone Age. Who? All of them.
But we lost both of our sons on the beaches of Normandy. That takes a large heart to let your children go. Well, my fear is that maybe I fear the world so much that I'm afraid to have a child.
At the turn of the third millennium, there were 600 million children living in poverty around the world. 12 million children under the age of 5 were dying from preventable diseases each year. 250 million children between the ages of 5 and 15 were working in sometimes dangerous and unhealthy conditions instead of attending school.
What the hell kind of world is that to knowingly bring a child?
What if the child is already here? I mean, today, just today, because of what's happened, because of what's still happening, there are more orphans in this country.
How does a pacifist face the violence of this world without feeling like a coward?
The war. The Great War. The First World War. Was a war that those who fought it, those who survived it, all assumed would teach the world that the horrors of war were too great to inflict upon humanity, upon ourselves and our children, ever again.
The overwhelming response to the events of the day in cities around the country and indeed around the world has been one of panic. In this city, the panic has given way to full-blown hysteria.
These are the right ideals.
Well, then how do you make them work? How do you make compassion and pacifism stand up to hatred and violence?
That's what turning the other cheek means.
How many mothers are hearing today that their children are dead? Well, how many mothers hear that every day? But the world goes on. It has to.
Maybe.
Estimates at this time are unreliable, but city officials say that at least 2 million people, and possibly twice that many, have fled the metropolitan area.
I mean, how can you imagine your future when the future of the world seems so uncertain?
These dogs of war are indiscriminate, once unleashed. They will strike at their master as easily as their prey, as likely lick your boots as the blood from your face. They are not men, cannot be turned back by fear, or by will, or recalled by men in white houses and white worlds. Once upon the field, they are the campaign. They are the war.
We strive to see ourselves as separate, our hopes and desires and pains as unique.
But everyone has the same desires as us. Everyone wants to be happy. No one wants to suffer.
To repeat, this is the emergency alert that we are receiving from city and state officials. Do not go out in the rain unless it is absolutely necessary. Stay indoors and keep your windows closed. If you have been in the rain, bathe yourself immediately and place your damp clothes in a plastic bag and place this bag outside of your home.
When the world shatters your dreams. You have to look beyond the world and back into your own heart.
I'll be fine, I promise.
Don't make promises.
The only hope for all of us as a nation and as a species and as a planet is if we can learn to open our hearts to the love that is our nature.